Before you enjoy this video, why not consider signing up for an account at PAX? Whether you're a player, agent, club or scout, PAX is for you. Create your free profile and connect with those in the industry today. For more information, please visit us at www.paxsports.com. That's www.paxsports.com. Now please go ahead and enjoy our video presentation. Alright guys, welcome to NextGenRugga. So a lot of you have requested this and I'm of service to you guys, so we're going to be discussing today the Lions 2021 squad prediction. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to click that subscribe button as well as bell notification, and you'll be the first to know when a new video comes out. And I just got to say guys, we just hit 6,000 subs. Thanks so much for all your support. It's growing far quicker than I ever thought it would initially, and appreciate all of the support guys. It really means a lot. So look, in terms of the title, you'll see that I said Lions 2021 squad prediction with a twist. Now, I'm not going to really get into the Springbok squad prediction because I think it's going to be 99.9% the same as a World Cup squad. You know, if you take a look at the age group and all the rest of that, I don't think there are going to be many bolters. I think the squad's going to stay very much the same. So instead of doing a Springbok squad, I'm going to just give a little twist. So you just wait a little bit and we'll get into that. But before we continue, I am offering Rugby CV services now. I just saw some of the work out there that guys have been charged for, and it's absolutely shocking. I think I can do it better. I know I can do it better. So if you're interested in getting a Rugby CV done, you can take a look at the portfolio of the work I've done. Judge for yourself whether you think it's quality or not. That's nextgenrugga.com/Rugby CV. And then I'm going to be starting a newsletter, not this Sunday, next week Sunday. So every Sunday you'll get an update from me. I will be discussing not only junior rugby but senior rugby as well, opinions, Super Brew predictions, everything. So if you guys want to be a part of that, you just go to nextgenrugga.com/newsletter, and then every week it will be delivered right into your inbox, and you can enjoy your Sunday start with a cup of coffee and reading some rugby news and all the rest of it, some thoughts and opinions. It won't be what you can find on the traditional rugby sites. And also what I'll do is I'll be including the video schedule for the next week. So anyone that subscribes to this newsletter will have the information beforehand on what videos I'm going to be releasing in the week and what sort of topics I'm going to be discussing. Okay, let's get into it, guys. So in terms of the squad composition, I'm looking at the last Lions twist, so something along the lines of a back three of six centres, 3 fly-halves, 3 scrummies, 8 loosies, 6 locks, 6 props, and 3 hookers. So let's start off with the back three. First name on the list, Stuart Hogg, Scottish player. I definitely think he's going to be the starting fullback, very talented player. To me, no doubt he's going to be there. Next player, Jacob Stockdale from Ireland. I think he's one of the first names on the list as well. Definitely will be looked to be a starter. Next name, I've got Jordan Lamore, another Irish player. Definitely strong, young, and definitely going places. Then carrying on, we got Elliot Daly from England. I was quite impressed by him during the World Cup. I thought he played pretty well. So definitely a name that I would have on the list. And next player would be Lee Halfpenny. I think he'll bring some nice experience to the team. Very high quality player. And I think the things with being a Lions coach, guys, is that you're not under the same pressure to develop youth as an international coach, right? So you can pick the best players, the most experienced players. So you're under no pressure to blood new players. So you can actually choose the best of the best in a way. So I think Halfpenny will definitely be there to add to the experience factor. And then next I got Johnny May, a lot of pace. I definitely think that he could be pushing for a starting berth as well. So that's a back three. Moving on to the centres, Gary Ringrose, I think he'll be there. Obviously, look, there's a lot of depth in centre in terms of the British and Irish Lions, but Ringrose, I think, has shown himself to be a quality player. Then Henry Slade. I think he had a bit of a mare in the World Cup final, to be honest, but still quality player, definitely going places. Then Jonathan Davies from Wales, he'll definitely be there. Then next we have Tuolagi, I mean, no doubt, guys, he's going to have to start. I mean, he's one of the best centres in the world. I mean, whether you love him or hate him. And talk about love or hate, obviously Owen Farrell's going to be there. Big possibility that he could be the captain. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what your opinion on that is. And then the final centre, Robbie Henshaw has to be the absolute class act. Moving on to the fly-offs. So first fly-off that I had was Dan Biggar. I just think he has to be there. I know not everyone's a fan of him, but I think he is a quality player. Then Finn Russell from Scotland. I really like this guy. I really like him and I rate him as a player. Scotland, haven't been the most consistent performers in rugby, but I like Finn Russell. I think he's a player with a lot of talent. And then finally, George Ford. Definitely, I really rate George Ford. I think he's got a big future in the game and maybe not quite a starter. I think in terms of a starter, I'd probably go with either Biggar or Russell, but George Ford is no slouch either. Scrummies. So first we have Ben Youngs from England, quality player. I think he'll definitely have to be there. Another player that had a bit of a meh. Then we got obviously Conor Murray. I mean, Conor Murray should be starting. I mean, form is temporary, class is forever. This guy's just a very, very classy player. Next, Gareth Davies from Wales. Definitely think he'll be there and will add much needed depth. Not quite a starter, but definitely will be a good squad player. So the Lucies, first up we have Aaron Wainwright from Wales. He's impressed me over the last couple of years. I think he'll definitely be there. Next player, Billy Vunipola, likely a starter at 8th man. Some may argue for another player, which we'll get to now, but I'll rate Vunipola. I think it'll be quite a battle between him and Duan Vermeulen. I think that'll be a massive battle. Then CJ Stander, South African born, but playing for Ireland. What a player he is. I think you'd probably, we could probably look at him as maybe an open sider. Him and Billy together would be absolutely devastating. And then Hamish Watson. Look, I think he's been decent over the last couple of years, but I think he's very underrated, and I think the Lions tour could be a time to shine for him. I really rate him. Next up, Josh van der Fleer from Ireland, another player that I think is very underrated that could go places. Looking forward to seeing him on the tour. Not necessarily a starter, but definitely a squad player. Then Justin Tipperich, definitely think he'll be there as well, classy player. Sam Mundial has to be there. And then, of course, definitely someone that could be a future Hall of Famer, Tom Curry. I mean, this guy's absolutely fantastic, guys. I can't put into words how highly I rate this guy. I think he's got such a massive future in the game. And no doubt a starter. And to think of his age, I mean, this guy could be a part of another 2 to 3 Lions tours. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Okay, so moving on to the locks. Alan Wynne-Jones has to be there. I know he's getting a bit long in the tooth, some people say, but he's going to add some experience. He might also be a contender for captain. Then Courtney Laws. I'll rate Courtney Laws. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I really rate him, to be honest with you. And I think maybe not a starter, but definitely a great impact player. Then Jake Ball from Wales, another player I rate highly, but probably also going to be a squad player. But still, don't underestimate him. He brings some nice physicality to the team. Then my next one would be James Ryan, absolute quality lock from Ireland. Massive future in the game. Another guy that could become part of a couple of Lions tours. Johnny Gray from Scotland, another player I rate a lot. Didn't have the best tournament, but I think he's definitely going to be part of the Lions mix. And then finally, Moro Itoje. I mean, one of the best locks in the world right now, and a guy that's got all the ingredients to become a Hall of Fame in the future, guys. I really rate him as well. Then loose heads. So, Cian Healy to me has to be there. Absolute tank, quality, very consistent performer. Not the best World Cup, but still a good player. Then Joe Marler. I mean, this guy's absolute nutter, but I rate him highly as a player, and I think he'll definitely add some grunt to that front row. And they're going to need grunt when they're facing the South African front row. There's no doubt about that. Next, Lou said the final one, Marco Vunipola. And it's so hard, guys. I mean, with this quality of Lou said, it's like who's going to start. You might think, I don't know, you'd probably think Cian Healy would probably be a starter with maybe Joe Marler on the bench. But yeah, there's a lot of depth over here. Then tight heads, Carl Sinclair has to be there. What an unlucky final he had, guys. I mean, I don't know, maybe the game could have, been significantly more different had he not got that injury early on. You don't know, but I'll rate him. He's a great player, and definitely, no doubt, 100% he'll be part of the squad. Then obviously Tad Furlong. I mean, one of the premier tight heads in the world over the last couple of years. I mean, this is like 200% guarantee that he's going to be there. And then finally, VPNL. And I know, there might be some arguments against this, but my opinion is that bringing VPNL in would help the Lions tremendously, because obviously he's going to be able to, offer that experience of playing in South Africa, the conditions, the culture, all the rest of that. So while I don't think he'll be a starter, I definitely think that he could add a lot in terms of helping out the other players in terms of the conditions and understanding the game and all the rest of it. Alan Dell's also another one. I think he's a loose head, though, that would be unlucky to miss out. But I don't know, if you take a look at the loose heads, there's just way too much quality over there. And finally, we move on to the hookers. So Jamie George, to me, has to be there. Look, I wouldn't say he's the best hooker in the world. We know that's not the case, but definitely one of the top European hookers, and I think he'll definitely be part of the squad. Then Ken Owens from Wales, I think he'll be there as well. And finally, Luke Cowan-Dickey. So I think you'll have two English hookers and one Welsh hooker. Now, I know the Irish guys might be screaming out and all the rest of it, but I think, Best has had that jersey for so long that to bring someone in that's only, that's been robbed of a year of rugby, basically, because of the COVID situation, and bringing him on the Lions tour, I don't think that's going to work. These guys have all got the experience and they've got the grunt. It's going to be about physicality, guys. That's the thing they understand. They're going to have to grunt up that front row, and they're going to have to face up to the physicality of the South African team. And that's why I went with a lot of the picks I did. Now, you guys might argue there might be players that are better, fine. But I went for something where I thought it was going to be, Gatlin's going to go for something extremely physical, players that can get in your face and all the rest of it, because this could be like I can't remember when that Lions tour was. Was it 76 or 74 when that Lions tour to South Africa was, where they had to get up in the face of the Springboks? And I think that's the same thing that's going to happen here. These guys are going to come and try and bring the A game in terms of physicality to nullify the Springbok threat. So what is the twist? Okay, like I said, I'm 99.9% sure that the Springbok squad is going to remain virtually unchanged. I think the only player that's going to be missing is Beast. And, you've got Nyankane, you've got Tom Du Toit, you've got all sorts of players that were part of the World Cup squad that'll be there anyway. So I thought, instead of doing a Springbok squad, what I would do is look at a scenario. Let's look at a scenario with the Southern Storm. So what if we had the Southern Storm consisting of all players from the Southern Hemisphere nations, including the Pacific Islands and Japan? And what if the British Lions became the Northern Lions, so they could actually include players from other Northern Hemisphere nations? So if the series is played every 4 years, with host nations alternating between the northern venues and the southern venues, I think it's something that could work and would be more inclusive. Now, I'm not a social justice warrior, tree hugger, and I hate using that word inclusivity like that, but I think we're missing something here, guys, and I think this is it. So if we group them, if the host nations are grouped into two nations each, where the 3 test matches played, and maybe in the Northern Hemisphere they can look at third test in an alternate venue, right? And I'll get to that in a bit, so you can see my thinking. And then I'd also have 6 tour matches to be played against regional clubs as well as invitational teams. So if you take a look, at how future tours could look, here's just an example for the Southern Hemisphere, right? So you'd group South Africa and Argentina together, Japan and the Pacific Islands, Australia and New Zealand. Let's go with South Africa and Argentina, for example. So Sharks, they play the Sharks and the Bulls. First test is played in Joburg. Then you could have a South African, Argentinian combined team in Port Elizabeth, followed by the Cheetahs in Bloem. Second test in Cape Town. Then they move over to Argentina and they play the Jaguares in Cordoba. Then the third test takes place in Buenos Aires. And if you follow that same logic with all the Southern Hemisphere teams or the Southern Storm teams, you're spreading rugby in a global level here, guys. And I think it's something that could become part of the rugby calendar that would be absolutely massive, something really exciting and something different. And if you take a look at the Northern Hemisphere countries, right? So let's say we group it with England, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, France, and Italy. So we've got the same thing working over here, where you after the first test, you play a combined team from the two nations, then you move on to the other countries. Now, I think the difference between the Southern and Northern Hemisphere teams is that the Northern Hemisphere teams generally play their rugby at one venue, right? So if you take a look at England and Wales, for example, you play the first test in Twickenham, second one in the Millennium Stadium, and then the third test you go to like a alternate venue like Madrid. Bring the game to the people. Ireland and Scotland, Berlin, France and Italy to Tbilisi, which is Georgia. So I don't know. I think it's something that could be really awesome and something that could become part of the rugby calendar and be more inclusive. Like I said, I don't like to use that word, but more inclusive, guys. Bringing in players from all over the world. Like a Clash of the Titans, Battle of the Giants type scenario, and all eyes would be on this fixture. Instead of having to wait 12 years or something like that for a tour. I think there's a lot of commercial viability in this. And I know a lot of people have probably thought about something like this before, but I think if you take a look at the calendar, the way things are structured over here, what I've basically alluded to, this is something that can work. The proof is right here if you take a look at it. So if we had something like that, what did it look like? So, I mean, look at these teams, guys. I mean, Northern Lions, you got Hogg and Stockdale, Farrell, Tualigi, May, Intermuck and DuPont in the back line. They would be taking on Smith, Yoni, Leonard Brown, Beale, Colby, Barrett and Genia, for example. Then your loose trio. I mean, look at that battle of a loose trio. Vunipola, Stunden, Curry against Vermeulen, DeToy and Hooper. In terms of the locks, you got a Toji and Ryan against Retallick and Etzebeth, front row battle. Marla, Shutt and Furlong against Herrera, Marks and Kitsoff. I mean, this would be absolutely epic, guys. Can you imagine this? I mean, you think about it, right? Let's say, for example, 2021, it's a Southern Storm versus Northern Lions tour that we get to look forward to. Then 2 years is the World Cup. Then 2 years after that is another Clash of the Titans or Battle of the Giants or whatever you want to call it, where the different hemispheres face each other. Everyone's included, and you could put Georgian players in the Northern Lions team. You can put some Japanese player in the Southern Storm team, and you alternate venues. Can you imagine a game like this taking place in Suva in Fiji, for example? I mean, 99% of the population would be running to get there. The whole purpose of rugby is to spread the game to new markets and to globalize it instead of keeping it so precious and to ourselves. You know what I mean? We've got to spread the game, and I think this is something that would be so unique, not only on a rugby level, but on a global level. I think it would become a massive event. So, what would you guys think about me doing a Southern Storm squad? Let me know in the comments down below. I know a lot of you guys wanted me to do a Springbok squad, but guys, like I said, I'm 99.9% sure it's going to be exactly the same as a World Cup squad, barring one or two players. So instead of doing that, I thought I'd offer a little twist here. And then maybe what we can do together as a community, we can select a Southern Storm squad between us, right? So, the Southern Storm squad for this year versus the Northern Lions, for example. What would the squad look like? Let me know if you want that video done, that style of video, and I'll definitely put it on the list. Now, don't forget to sign up for that newsletter if you want to find out about the videos in advance, and don't hesitate to leave a comment below and ask me what sort of videos you'd like to see in the future. There's not much content going on in the COVID era, so to speak, so it's tough. I have to be creative, and that's why I got creative with the Southern Storm. So let me know if you want to see the Southern Storm squad video, and maybe what we can do is we can select it together. Have a fantastic week further, gentlemen. Cheers, bye.